Hey, what's up? This is Pete Scott here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why it's easier to sell your solution at a high price than it is to sell it at a low price. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on a second, Pete. You're telling me that it's easier to help my client and to actually sell maybe a £3,000, £8,000, even a £20,000 solution to them than it is to sell a £50 or even a £200 solution. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, and that's exactly what I know. I've seen it in my own business. I've seen it with hundreds of people that I've worked with. I've seen it with my academy members, and now guess what? I'm sharing it with you. I want you to know how difficult we make it for ourselves when we only sell down at this level. Now I get it, it makes logical sense. Well, somebody, if they spend £50, then I'm not asking for too much from them. That makes sense, but what if it doesn't make sense to the client? It's never about our own financial thermostat. It's about making a difference in our clients' lives. In actual fact, I would even go so far to say you are there to make a fundamental shift, even a transformation within your client. And in order to do that, they're not going to do that for £50. They're not going to change their whole body if you specialize in body transformation as a personal trainer for £200. They're not even going to do it maybe for £2,000. In order to truly help someone, we need to move from here to here. And in this video, like I say, these 5 reasons can help you to start developing that sales mentality. You can build that unlimited confidence so you can start to build the business that you love, where you are truly making an impact and making that difference in your clients. Let's get into these 5 reasons. Reason number 1, because when you sell a high price, you sell the full solutions. And that brings me down to this end to say people don't want a part solution. Think about it this way. If you walked into a Mercedes garage and the salesperson walked up to you and said, "Hey, would you like to buy just the steering wheel today?" You look at them and say, no, I want the whole car, please. They say, no, I'm gonna sell you just the steering wheel because the steering was only £250. You're like, no, I'm actually here to buy the whole thing. You see how crazy this sounds, but that's what we do in our businesses. It happens all the time. It especially happens with service providers, beauty therapists, personal trainers, consultants, the list goes on and on. What we want to do, we're so eager to help people or help businesses, is that we actually devalue ourselves in the process. And we do this by selling at this low level. So I want you to take a totally different angle and realize that it's easier when you communicate the entire solution. If you, for example, do beauty therapy, now if you sell relaxation, sure enough, relaxation for an hour, what's that worth? £50, maybe £80 if you're really good. But if you sell skin transformation, that client transforming their skin and having the best skin that they've had in the last decade, how much is that worth? Now it becomes an entirely different conversation. And it's the same for every industry, it's the same for the level of impact and how deeply you want to serve and how much of a transformation you want to make. And the coolest thing about this of all is that when you start communicating the full solution, saying, hey, I will help you make this whole shift in your life, that makes a lot more sense. And the client can actually see and they can feel the value. When you're talking at this low level, like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna change your whole life and I'm gonna do it for just £180 if you buy today. It just doesn't add up. People are smart. Even if they don't realize it consciously, subconsciously, the mind is ticking away saying, hold on a second, this guy or girl is promising me the world, but then they're saying that they can give me the world for just £180. But if you're honest, and really what I'm sharing today is just about honesty, and you say, in order to do this, we're looking at somewhere in the region of £2,000 to £6,000. So before we move ahead, I just want to make sure that if you are deciding to do something, that you can be comfortable, maybe challenged, but also comfortable to go ahead with that sort of investment. Will that be okay? Bam! Now you've moved to this high-end solution. Reason number 2. When people pay more, they experience more. I want you to visualize this for a moment. You walk into a hotel, you check in, you go up to your room, and you've paid £50 for that night in the hotel. What is your expectation? Well, the chances are you didn't think about the reception, you didn't think too much about the service, and you're just happy that there's a good mattress and you can get a good night's sleep. But what about if you paid £2,000 for one night in a hotel? The moment you walk into that hotel, how does your experience change? You've just invested a sizable amount of money. Now you can challenge me and say, Pete, I would never pay £2,000 to stay in a hotel. Hold on, this video isn't actually about you, it's about your clients and it's about understanding the psychology of people. So you walk into the hotel and you've paid that £2,000 or $2,000. You're noticing how you're welcomed at reception. On top of that, you're looking around saying, wow, look at the detail, look at the artwork and the furniture. And then as you go up to your hotel room, you take in every detail. When you stay in a £50 a night hotel, you're not walking into the bathroom saying, wow, look at this bathroom, look at that shower. But when you're paying £2,000, every detail becomes important. It's the same if you taste a glass of wine. If you know that glass of wine is a £3 glass of wine, it's a standard glass of wine. But then if somebody says to you, hey, this is a £1,000 glass of wine, you will taste that wine. You're like, every drop is important, because when people pay more, they expect more, therefore they experience more. Price is not linear, it's down to the perception of your client. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot to mention, the glass of wine at £5 and £1,000 is exactly the same. But I promise you, if someone pre-framed you and said, this is a £3 glass of wine or a £5 glass of wine or a £1,000 glass of wine, that is going to change your experience unless you're a wine connoisseur. Anyways, let's move on. Reason number 3. Nobody wants to buy the cheapest life-changing solution. I'm assuming, and this is a big assumption by the way, but I'm assuming that you're in the business of change. And what I mean by that is you make some kind of fundamental change within your clients. Yes or no? Let me know below if you make a change in your clients. Let me ask you, if you've only got a £200 budget to make that change in your client, what can you do for that £200? But if we now up that to say now £3,000 or even £8,000, what sort of shift can you help your client with? How much commitment can you put into it? By the way, I'm going to talk about this in another video where if you sell at high end, what you shouldn't do is sell lots of service, lots of your time, because now you've got this thing called service debt and you have to pay off that debt giving your time. And you might have had that £8,000 sale, but you're going to hate yourself for it later on. This is a key bonus tip for you. People do not pay for your time, they pay for the value that you bring. So if you can sell a high-end solution, say for whatever the price, right? Whatever the investment, and you can give a little bit of your time and that person still feels that value, wow, you are on to a winner. But bear in mind, nobody is going to be proud of saying, hey, I bought this life-changing solution. Oh my goodness, I'm a changed man or woman as a result of it. And it only cost me £250. It just doesn't make sense unless you are selling a commodity. And again, my assumption is that you're not doing that. You're selling some kind of transformation, you're proud of what you do, then it's time to step up and actually make that happen. And the only way that you're going to do that is by moving from this low end, chasing the next sale, the next transaction, and moving into this thing that I call transformational selling. Reason number 4, it will force you to step up. How excited would you be if tomorrow you woke up and you have got 5 clients throughout the day, or 5 customers, and those 5 customers have paid £150 to see you? Now, I get it. You might say, Pete, of course, I'm passionate about what I do, and I am excited. And £150 times 5, that's £750 or whatever it is. That's pretty cool, right? But hold on a second. Once you pay your rent, once you pay the bills, once you take your time out of it, suddenly you're earning £7 an hour. But what about if I said this, tomorrow you've only got 3 clients, not even 5, but every single client has paid you £2,000. So in one day, you're working like 3 hours, and on top of that, you just had a 6K day. How excited would you be? How committed would you be to get stuck into the work with your client? We cannot deny that when we sell at a high end, it forces you to level up. I'm gonna be blunt here. If you're not selling at this higher level, then you are not yet reaching even close to your potential. Because I have a belief that if we were already the person that we were meant to be to achieve our goals, then we would have already achieved that goal. If you haven't yet achieved the thing that you set out to do, if you've started business, if you've been in business for a while, or if you haven't even started a business yet, but you know you want to, look, business is constantly giving us feedback, and your business specifically is always communicating with you. And when you step up and when you actually charge a proper fee, and I'm not saying for a one-off you charge that £2,000, but when you actually sell the transformation instead of the transaction, it all of a sudden becomes about the client, and then you're thinking, oh my goodness, this guy or girl, they've just paid me a real money. I need to level up. I need to do this properly. And this leads us into reason number 5, which is you will now run your business as a business and not as a hobby. There's something about hobbies. I love to have hobbies, right? But there's a problem. They cost money. Hobbies can be expensive. I played basketball growing up, I still play basketball now, and I play as a hobby. I do not play professional, but it's expensive to keep up with that hobby. I've got to pay the league fees, I've got to buy new trainers or sneakers. On top of that, I've got to pay all these other fees to buy a uniform, the list goes on and on. So a hobby is something that we pay to be a part of. A business is something that pays you. But the problem is when you treat your business like a hobby, and what I mean by that is you're inconsistent. What I mean by that is that you're playing and you're pretending at business, you're not showing up and being the best version of you. That business is going to eat you alive. Maybe you're feeling like you're constantly putting out fires. Maybe you feel like your business is like a baby, but it's never growing up. It's constantly screaming, it's constantly needing attention. And at the end of the month, you're looking saying, hey, what did I even start this business for? People ask me, they say, Pete, how do you determine if somebody is running a hobby business or if they are in business because they mean business? Well, for me, it's simple. If you feel like your business owns you instead of you owning your business, then you are running a hobby, not a business. And I urge you, there is more to this, but I urge you to look in the mirror, and I mean this with kindness, reflect upon your actions, how you're showing up at the moment. You've got this, like you've got more potential, like you know if this is resonating with you throughout this video, you know that there's more that you can do. And by the way, if you've never started a business before and you're just gonna go into business, what a great time to get this. I wish I had this information 15 years ago. But hey, it's irrelevant if you've been in business 5 minutes or 50 years. This information can be a game changer. You know why I'm so certain about this? Because I've just seen it too many times. I've seen it for the people, the clients that I've worked with. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in Puggy and the horse's life. You see these guys right here. But you get the idea, right? So these are your 5 reasons. Number 1, because you sell the full solution, which makes a lot more sense for your client, by the way, instead of this weird part solution. By the way, would you like to get part of the results? Like just 20%, not the full result. Make sense? This one is much easier. Number 2, because when people pay more, they expect more, therefore they experience more. Number 3, because nobody on planet Earth wants to be known for buying the cheapest life-changing transformation unless it is a commodity. And you, my friend, are not a commodity. Number 4, because it forces you to level up and become the person that you know you're ultimately capable of becoming. And number 5, you will run a business as a business, not just as a hobby. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, then what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Commit, hit that button. It's a small commitment. Press the button now. I'll be like, boom. And then from there, check out these videos as I keep creating them. Thank you so much. Puggy says hi, Pink Horse says hi, and I'll see you in the next video. Let's make this happen.